Oh boy, here we go. So, Nintendo announced within the past week or so that come March of 2023, they're going to be closing the eShops on the 3DS and Wii U. Specifically, we'll no longer be able to perform new transactions through these older eShops. Although, come May 23rd of this year, 2022, we'll no longer be able to perform transactions with credit cards or add funds with credit cards at all. And then come August 29th of this year, we won't be able to add funds to our wallets on these older systems through prepaid cards. Although you'll still be able to add funds if your Nintendo Network ID that's connected to your 3DS and Wii U is synced with a Nintendo account on a Nintendo Switch, and you add funds through the Switch's eShop, those funds will be synced to the wallets on those older systems. So there's still going to be that way to add funds even after these more direct methods of credit cards and prepaid cards will go away. And yeah, this closure does also affect the theme shop on the 3DS. Come March of next year, you won't be able to get any more new themes. And also, this does affect any and all DLC, including the DLC that was available for the Street Pass Me Plaza. Granted, once this closure does hit, we'll still be able to re-download software that we've already purchased, and we'll still be able to play games online like Mario Kart or Smash Brothers. And we'll still be able to do that for the foreseeable future. So, what do I think of this? Well, because I have so much software, I don't think this is a good idea. I've been with the 3DS for basically its whole life, and seeing this major part of its functionality just go away, it's a little disheartening, to be honest. Although it's kind of inevitable now that we know how Nintendo judges the overall length of a system's lifespan. Essentially, they look at the first 2 years of a console's life, and depending on how well it does, that's how they determine how long it's going to be before the next console. That's why the Switch came out pretty soon after the Wii U's launch. Like, the Wii U came out in late 2012, and we got the Switch in early 2017, so that's just a tad over 4 years, which is pretty short for a home console. And it's especially disheartening because there's so much legacy content that's available on both the 3DS, but also the Wii U eShop. Like, the Wii U eShop has retro games that the Switch doesn't have yet. Both systems have NES, SNES, and N64, although the N64 games on Switch are kind of contentious with how questionable the games run. Like in Paper Mario, if you get a game over with Watt as your partner, at least with the US ROM, it will crash the software, and because of the way that the NSO software works, you might lose out on hours worth of progress, depending on the precautions that you take. And not to mention the fact that the Wii U eShop has Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, and straight-up Wii games available through its Virtual Console. And none of those are available on the Switch. I feel like Game Boy Advance games, or just Game Boy games in general, are kind of a no-brainer to put on the Switch. It seems like it's something that wouldn't take too much development time. I do kind of prefer how Nintendo's handling their retro games. With the NSO paid subscription, because it's giving you access to a boatload more games than the piecemeal a la carte system that we've come to know on these previous systems. Although I think people would be more in favor of the way that NSO is doing things if we had more games available to us. We're nearing 5 years into the Switch's lifespan, and we don't have much of anything past N64. Not to mention all the DLC from the 3DS and Wii U that we'll no longer have access to. It's kind of funny that this is happening to the 3DS and Wii U, where the 3DS is home to the very first mainline full retail game that was available through the eShop and as a physical copy, and it was the first Nintendo game that had paid DLC, that's going away. And especially with Smash 3DS and Wii U, this was the first Smash game that we got a taste of paid DLC for a Smash Bros. Game. And that's just going away. Now, granted, we do have Smash Bros. Ultimate, but there is a certain charm and feel that Smash 4 has that Smash Ultimate doesn't. And especially Smash Run. It's kind of the reason why I prefer this over Smash Wii U. And this whole predicament kind of ties into something that I've been feeling over the past couple years. It's just felt really difficult to enjoy anything that Nintendo does, because it feels like one thing that they do right. On the other hand, they're doing something that is just incredibly questionable, and it just makes me feel strange and feeling like I don't know what to feel, because they go back and forth like, oh, you're doing an actual, like, Mario Party game, and oh, you're actually doing a new WarioWare, to, oh, and 64 games don't necessarily run the best on Switch. Like, they have either graphical glitches, or occasionally you'll hear the audio warble, or in the case of Paper Mario, it just borks. That being said, even if people make enough of a stink about it, I don't think Nintendo's gonna go back on this decision like Sony did with closing the PSP, PS Vita, and PS3 stores. Nintendo's kind of a traditional Japanese company in the sense that, yeah, I don't think they're gonna back down, guys. Like, I think if a very large amount of people make enough of a stink about this closure, then I think they'll reconsider, but I think they're giving us basically a full year for a reason, in the sense that these shops are gonna be going away for good next year, whether we like it or not. So because of that, I've been kind of developing a game plan for how I want to approach the eShop closure going forward. First off, even though I have a 32GB SD card in this, which is what the 3DS natively supports as its max capacity, if you format a larger card into FAT32 format, it should be recognized by the 3DS no problem. So I'm probably going to pick up a 64GB card at some point, just so then I don't run out of space, because I'm getting somewhat tight on space on this 32GB card. I say that it's running low on space, but yeah. I'm mostly doing it just to future-proof and making sure that I will not run out of space at all. And as for the games that I'm going to be focusing on, I'm mostly focusing on buying games that I don't think are going to be brought to other systems. So, for example, Kid Icarus Uprising. I hope that gets a HD remake on the Switch, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Metroid Samus Returns, Link Between Worlds, the Box Boy trilogy, Detective Pikachu, and some more off-the-wall choices, Kirby Battle Royale, and just the bonus Kirby games that were available on the eShop. And Pokemon Crystal. I'm not a big Pokemon guy, but I feel like just having that is better than not. And because I've only ever had Brain Age Express Math on here, I'm also planning on getting Express Arts and Letters, because, yeah, the Brain Age series is kind of close to me. So along with getting games that I've been meaning to for years, I happen to have a second 3DS. And I also happen to have coffee right here that I've brewed at home. Yeah, I'm homebrewing this. I've already made the preparation of getting Pokemon Picross. Yeah, I'm mostly doing this just as a in case of emergency break glass sort of situation. If I find out that there's a game that I didn't get on my main system, once the eShop closes, I'll still be able to find a ROM of it online and load it up onto here. Plus, I think it'll be fun to play around with a homebrewed system and everything that unlocks for you. Like custom themes, being able to essentially inject any retro ROM onto here. And I think this might become my main way of playing retro games, depending on how easy it is to load them up onto here. And yeah, I'll probably get a larger card for this one as well. This was my main 3DS that I had all my data transferred to at one point, but I got this because I missed the 3D effect. So this only has its stock 4 gig SD card, so I'll probably be getting a 64 gig card for this as well, because why not? Flash memory at this point is so cheap that it's just like, why not? Data preservation is going to be something that I'm going to make a big priority with both of these. Considering the fact that my main standard 3DS library, as you saw earlier, is all digital, I can just pop my SD card into my computer and back it up to my hard drive. So if this card or the data in this card ever goes bad, I'll have that backup to just throw onto a new card. Plus, depending on how easy it is to homebrew this, once the eShop closes, I might also homebrew this, so then I can back up my save data for all these games. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna really do that. Again, it depends on how easy I find homebrewing this. I was watching a video yesterday on how to go about the whole homebrew process and getting one of these hacked, and it doesn't look bad. It's just a matter of placing certain files in the correct locations on your SD card, and especially as someone that has dabbled with Linux, and I have basic experience with using the terminal in Linux and other more advanced, for a standard user, computer type stuff like that, it doesn't look that terribly difficult. Now, along with preserving my data, I'm also going to be preserving the batteries of these as well, in the sense that if I'm not using either of them, come on. There we go. I'll be keeping them powered off. I've done what Nintendo has recommended that you do with these, is when you're not using them, you keep them in sleep mode connected to power. But if there's really nothing that's going to be sent out through Spot Pass at this point, there hasn't been for years, yeah, I'm just going to keep them powered off when I'm not using them. And in fact, I may track down a fresh battery for this just in case. Even though I've had this for a little over 3 years at this point, this is probably the 3DS that I've used the least, because I got it about 6 months after I did my Switch. So really the only games that I've played through on this are the Bowser's Inside Story remake, and just playing through various games like WarioWare Gold, for example. This hasn't gotten as much use as even this one that I only had for a year before I got the new XL. I've played through quite a bit of games on this. And then also, I'm planning on getting a couple additional accessories for this, just to make playing on it a little bit more comfortable. For my 2DS XL, I actually have this, even though it's kind of a cheaper grip. It makes playing at home way more comfortable, because you have, you know, this extra grip to hold on to. Hello. So I'm probably going to track down something similar like this for my new 3DS XL. And I also have a new case coming in for this, because this red Mario case that I've had for years, it just barely fits the new 3DS XL. Fits this fine, but it's just kind of a bit tight. So I have a new case that's it's actually coming in a couple hours. But yeah, that's about everything that I wanted to say. I can't wait to make another one of these videos when the Switch eShop goes down in 2040.